Everybody's favorite segment, Todd's Odds, brought to you by Todd Fuhrman, our sports betting analyst. Great guy. FanDuel brings you the segment. And actually, FanDuel has some great odds on where Bill Belichick might end up next season. Todd, let's take a look at this. My favorite part of this board is broadcast at plus 800. I just can only imagine what Billy B would bring to the booth on an NFL broadcast. I actually would love to see it, to be honest. But Falcons obviously the favorite. He's already interviewed there. Arthur Blank's ready to write him a blank check. Where do you think he ends up, Todd?
I think it's interesting, Jay. You mentioned the broadcasting role. He did a phenomenal job as the guest picker on College Game Day earlier this year for the Army-Navy game that took place at Foxborough. And I think Bill has a lot more personality waiting to break through that most of the world would probably not be ready for. You look at those odds, and we actually have seen some movement. The Falcons were closer to plus $1.70 earlier in the day when we thought there was going to be a head coaching vacancy with the Dallas Cowboys as well. They've announced that they are going to keep their union together with Mike McCarthy, and you've seen that number come down. These markets are so tough. Unless you have a little bit of inside intel, it's real difficult to make a case to bet the favorite here in the Atlanta Falcons. So I do think Bill is back on the sidelines, but if you were going to give me the Falcons or the field, I would be much more inclined to look a little bit further down that odds board.
Todd, as you know, every home team except for the Dallas Cowboys won on Wild Card Weekend. Is there a road team this weekend in the divisional round that you would be comfortable backing?
There is actually two of them. Well, one I like quite a bit, though, and it's the shortest underdog in the 4 games, the Kansas City Chiefs, who will go on the road to Western New York to take on the Bills, the first road playoff game in Patrick Mahomes' illustrious career. And you look at what Mahomes has done, been an underdog 10 times since he became a starting quarterback in Kansas City, 8-1-1 against the number. I know this is a short price, but I think Buffalo on a very short week with a banged-up defense could be in for a 4-quarter fight. And I really believe that the Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, along with an underrated defense, will relish that underdog role. Unfortunately for Bills Mafia, I think this is where the end of the line hits a brick wall, and it's Kansas City moving on to the AFC Championship.
Ooh, sorry, Mafia. Let's take a look at the updated odds to win the Super Bowl. Now, Todd, you've already said to us that Packers, Texans, Buccaneers, you have no confidence in any of them going to the Super Bowl. They're not going to win it. The Niners' path to the Super Bowl makes them the overwhelming favorite. Is there an AFC team that you even feel comfortable backing at this point? Is it the Ravens?
There is, Jay, and while the Ravens are worthy favorites, I think Kansas City is an attractive option at 7-1. I know our long shot ticket on the Cleveland Browns crashed and burned last week. Apparently, Joe Flacco didn't get the memo that you have to throw the football to players wearing the same color jersey that you are. Not a recipe for success, but I think Kansas City is a team at 7-1 that's been a little bit discounted. We hear about the offense and how it struggled for an identity. Look, there isn't much to get excited about in the passing game opposite Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. But again, I think this defense gets overlooked. And if Kansas City is able to pull off a short upset on the road this weekend against Buffalo, they would potentially give the Ravens all they can handle and then some. I wouldn't mind having a little bit of the Chiefs at 7-1 in my portfolio.
Love it. Love this guy. Love your moxie. Bills Mafia may not love you, but we do. Todd Fuhrman, you're the best. We'll see you next week, okay?
Always a pleasure, my friend.